Okay, here we go. Let's go. Yes, let me check it. I know. But we had a change with the judge. Had to act very, very quickly. I have a very busy afternoon. Let me just double check. We should be good with Gian. Here we go. Audio is good. All right. I know, a little delay. We can do this for an hour. It's only for an hour. That's all it is. It's not easy being a broadcast professional. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Okay, we'll bring you the latest. Sun is in and out. Okay, let me double check. Is that what that is? Okay. I'm on right now. Oh, yes. Okay, we're going to start in 1 minute. Let me just double check. Woo. We had to move fast. Folks, we're mobile. All right? That's what this is all about. Yes, let me just double check it. I think it should be okay. Yes. And we're going to start at 1:06 on this Friday. So let me still just kind of getting settled here. We have a situation where the judge suddenly announced, Judge Canoni with the Karen Reed case suddenly announced that we were done for the day, and that's not a bad thing, only because I'm doing Fox Nation a little bit, coming up a little bit this afternoon. Let me just, everybody bear with me here. We're on the go. Well, I like to say that this is definitely mobile. I think the sound, Gian says the sound is fine, and it should be fine. And this enables me, good. And we're going to just roll with it. I have a lot to bring everybody up to speed on. We are outside, but this helps me. The fact that the judge ended a little early allows me to then be in position for, it's still busy afternoon and even into the night because of Court TV later, and then also Fox Nation. Folks, this portion of the program on this Friday, and we have full Karen Reed update coming on. Also, the situation in Providence, what is going on with City Hall is just atrocious. I'm going to tell you about that as well. This portion of the program is brought to you by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Stop it and see them. Annuals, perennials, trees and shrubs, hanging pots, 10-inch, 12-inch moss baskets, hanging impatiens, pansy, marigold bags, large selection of beautiful patio pots, vegetable plants and herbs, tropical mandavillas. They have it all. Stop it and see them. 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, and they have a great Facebook page, and they're looking for you. Now, right now, it is 1:08 on this Friday. Remember to check out dpetro.com, which is brought to you by the Cohasset Inn, 226 Cohasset Avenue in West Warwick. Remember, folks, as we like to say, lunch, dinner, or drinks in the lounge. Either way, they're literally waiting for you at the Cohasset Inn. And don't forget, they also have the market at Cohasset, which is also tremendous. And the delicious food at the Cohasset Inn doesn't have to just stay in the restaurant. They have prepared meals that you can bring with you and take home. They have great gourmet items. They have a lot. It's all waiting for you at the Cohasset Inn. Folks, a Rhode Island mainstay, and you want to support a great local restaurant like the Cohasset Inn. The Cohasset Inn, 226 Courtroom Avenue in West Warwick. So we're a little bit on the go on this Friday, but we can certainly get through the hour. The judge suddenly just announced, and I'm going to tell you, we're going to start about the Karen Reed case. I want to just mention, I think what's going on right now in the city of Providence, where, as we speak, they put up the Palestinian flag over Providence City Hall. Now, this is going to come down to how much are the voters of Providence, how much are they going to put up with? I don't understand it. If I were one of the chosen people, if I lived in Providence, or if I were a Jewish business owner, the fact that they are putting up the Palestinian flag over, and it's flying right now over City Hall in the city of Providence, I would have a tough time with that. But let me recap and regroup with you with what happened this morning with the Karen Reed case. So the judge, without warning, let the jury go for the day. And something very significant. Oh, good. Hello to my friends. My favorite person, and also her sister. Okay. Now, I want to just explain what happened. And I want to touch on some things with the case because, folks, because I have been accurately telling you what's going on in the courtroom, as a result of that, then you start to come under attack. And those of you that watch Road Patrol and follow know that there's no way. I mean, we're not going to veer off that. It doesn't matter. There is definitely a media narrative that they're trying to bring forth. And it's not just the Boston media. It's also the national media. I'm not going to go along with it. I'm going to tell you what's going on in the courthouse. Now, as far as this afternoon, it's very obvious that the defense, the Karen Reed defense, they're trying to pull a fast one with this business of these ARCA experts. And these guys from ARCA who put in this testimony, by the way, they lied on the stand. They were paid by the defense. They tried to be presented as though they were independent experts. They weren't. And for whatever reason, you can't get into someone's mind, they're trying to hijack the prosecution regarding the Karen Reed case. So where do things stand right now? Well, Hank Brennan, the special prosecutor, he deserves a lot of credit. He's not going to back down. He's not going to allow these clowns, and that's what they are, from ARCA to come in and inject what they say is new evidence, and it's all, and I have to watch my language, but BS, that there's no way that John O'Keefe was struck by a vehicle. It's moronic. What we just heard in the courtroom, fragments of the taillight, fragments of Karen Reed's taillight was found in the clothing of Officer John O'Keefe. So Judge Canoni ruled the new Aperture report and the timestamp shift. Remember, the prosecution, their technology is changing literally every day and every week. And they're improving technology. And when you would celebrate in the courtrooms, and they're improving on the technology that they have. And so much of it has to do with regarding the cell phone and the ability and the data they have from Karen Reed's Lexus, and also pairing it up with John O'Keefe's cell phone. And the fact of the matter is, you would want that you get the most accurate depiction of the information from her Lexus paired up with John O'Keefe's cell phone. And that's what Hank Brennan and the prosecution, and that's what they're trying to put forward, the most accurate depiction of what happened. Now the judge, and this morning I was in the courtroom, and Robert Alessi, or is it Alessi? Robert Alessi, they're arguing, oh, we're going to have to delay the trial for 4 days, so we're going to have to do all these things. The judge said, my findings for the record, the defendant has not persuaded me under undue surprise or unfair prejudice by this information. I don't think there's delayed disclosure. So Hank Brennan is holding firm. Hank Brennan, special prosecutor, is holding firm. I also want to, the judge did excuse the jury early today. Next Thursday, half day, Friday, day off for the Memorial Day weekend. But you have to, I want to just address something that was said online. And granted, folks, I understand that right now, because I'm in the courtroom, because I'm going to be on Fox Nation, coming up live, streaming at 3 o'clock, because we're on Court TV every night, because our platforms continue to grow, TikTok, 108,000 followers, Facebook, over 100,000 followers, all of our platforms are growing. And people say, I like the reporting. I like the honest reporting, not going along with certain members of the media that say we have to carry Karen Reed's water. We have to help the defense in this and the rest of that nonsense that I can't even listen to and refuse to listen to. But someone put a troll, and there are trolls out there. When I put right now, the jury, there's no reason for this jury, to like Karen Reed. And one of the trolls put, that's not accurate. All right, I'll touch on that. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I'll talk about it. So my response to this person, who's not even in the blanking courtroom, so what part, aside from this insanity of worshiping her, or she's their bestie, or Karen, my queen, let's talk about, you're on the jury. And if you take out that it's any defendant right now in her position, it just happens to be Karen Reed. But if you're on that jury, you see these smug interviews of her played in the courtroom. You see her mocking. This seemed like a good idea about 15 minutes ago, but we're going to make it through. We're going to get through it. You see her mocking Peg O'Keefe, the mother of John O'Keefe. Let's talk about what would be the perception of Karen Reed right now with this jury in the courtroom. And my question for not only that person, but anyone is, what exactly would be something positive that you would have a positive impression of the defendant, Karen Reed? What, her outfits every day? Is that what we're talking about? Well, I think they like her because of her outfits. I mean, I don't even know is that really something that juries say? We like the expensive pantsuits that she wears? Let's talk about the defendant. We've seen videos of her mocking Peg O'Keefe. You could tell Peg O'Keefe hates Karen Reed. Again, if you're on the jury, what's the positive? These people, oh no, the jury loves Karen. Okay, I'm just asking, based on what have they seen or heard that would in any way give them a favorable impression of the defendant, Karen Reed? Alan Jackson didn't even talk about her in the open. They don't see a husband in court with her. They don't see any children behind her in court. They see her parents, and then, it's an ever-changing group of people that are then behind her. So what have we heard? We heard first responders saying she arrived like a maniac, saying, I hit him, I hit him, I hit him, from not just one person, but several people. We heard that from Jen McCabe. We heard it from Kerry Roberts. She's calling people. John's dead. I think he got hit by a plow. What did the niece say the other day? Karen at 4:30 in the morning said, I think he got hit by a plow. Could I have hit him? That's what the niece testified to. We've seen these clips. We're just talking about drinking. The person, the troll, that is saying that's not accurate. The jury loves Karen. Was it the Higgins text? Is that what we're led to believe? The jury really likes that she was texting some guy named Brian Higgins and calling him hot. So that's what you're basing this on? Maybe is that what it is? Maybe it's the voicemails. The jury really likes Karen because she was very passionate about John when she was leaving him those voicemails, telling him, let alone that we've learned, he's lying there, clinging to life, and she's leaving voicemails, calling him a pervert, and she blanking hates him. So is that the part that's endearing to the jury? The jury is saying, I wasn't sure about this defendant, but when I heard those voicemails where she's screaming at the deceased that he's a pervert and he's using her and she hates him, that's when I then fell into her camp. Is that what we're led to believe? Is it the videos that they play where she's saying, oh, it was a weak pour. Oh, I could barely taste the booze. Oh, no, I had to order a shot. That was a weak pour at that play. Oh, are you kidding me? Too much. It was a vodka tonic, too much ice. I had to order an extra sidecar for. Is that the part that the jury's grabbing onto? So I want to come back to, I stand by my statement that there's been nothing. I'm not saying it can't change, by the way. I'm not saying it can't change. I fully get that the defense is going to get a chance to put on their case. And maybe they are going to put on character witnesses that are going to say she is this fantastic person and talk about the relationship with John and everything else. But all I'm saying is right now, so far, as we are day 17 into the trial, there has been nothing positive about Karen Read. And I would not see where the jury would be fawning over her the way apparently some people are. Folks, this portion of the program, and I realize because I have to be at a studio for Fox Nation, and because they let court off early, I thought we could make this work. I think we can get through till 2 o'clock. That's what I look for. That's the big question. Can we get through to 2 o'clock? I believe the answer is going to be yes. This portion of the program is sponsored by Propane Plus. Call them today, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus heating and cooling. Remember, they also have a very good website. It's propaneplus.com. You just go on, type in your zip code. You can depend on Propane Plus. Residential or commercial, it's Propane Plus. Call them today for all your propane needs. Give them a call in Rhode Island, 401-885-4209, or in Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus. Well, folks, good afternoon. It is Friday. It's been a long week with the Karen Read trial. The court ended early. I want to come back to, I would say that this has been a very successful week, a powerful week for the prosecution. The evidence is adding up as far as the taillight. And the testimony we just heard is fabric fragments of the taillight, the Karen Read taillight, found in the clothing of Officer John O'Keefe. Now, I'm not trying to debate anybody. I'm not trying to win anyone over. But I think that's a pretty good question. How, if he were brought into the house and assaulted, how did fragments of her taillight, fragments now, get into his clothing? But this business of, oh no, the jury loves Karen Read, based on what? I would argue they haven't heard anything other than she was the girlfriend of the defendant, who seemed like a pretty decent guy. They haven't heard anything that would lead them to have that feeling. If I were sitting on the jury and you have someone who's sitting there, and again, I want to be very clear, I'm not saying the defense is not going to get a chance to put their case on, but it is totally disingenuous that people are trying to put out this perception, oh, the jury really likes Karen. Based on what? Based on what? It's all negative. And I get part of the prosecution is it should be, but those clips of her saying, I probably did say I hit him, but I didn't say it as many times as they claim, or her mocking Peg O'Keefe, like what planet are you living on there's been nothing positive about her. I guess unless you're like an alcoholic that has anger issues and maybe you find her relatable, but I'm just trying to be objective here. And folks, again, I'm very content to just put out and report to you what I'm seeing, what I'm observing, my experience. Covered a lot of different trials. Sometimes it matches up, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. It's way too early. These people that say, oh, there's reasonable, you don't know that. You don't know. To me, you can't make a valid assessment until both sides have presented, till they've had closing arguments, till you get a sense of who's on the jury and exactly what they're going to be debating. I just think it's too early for that. But so far, the prosecution has put on a pretty compelling case that it was outside 34 Fairview. It was at the flagpole. The defendant was acting like a maniac. The defendant had a broken taillight, meaning Karen Reed. And now we're learning about manner of death and cause of death. And there's two different aspects of that, by the way. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by Roofco, Rhode Island. Top level service, prices you can afford. Call them, Roofco, Rhode Island. Call them for a free quote, 401-868-7149. 401-868-7149. Roofco, Rhode Island. They'd be happy to give you a free estimate, 401-868-7149. Wind damage, maybe you have a leaky roof, curled shingles, granules in the gutter, damaged chimney flashing. Roofco, Rhode Island. I share their Facebook page. Why not get a free estimate? Maybe it's time. The best way to improve the value of your home or business is with a new roof. Roofco, Rhode Island. Call Joe, 401-868-7149. It's actually not that windy out. I'm just in a little bit of a windy spot, but it is Friday, and the judge in the Karen Reed trial let everybody go early, and as a result of that, I have to be on Fox Nation for 3 o'clock, so I thought I'd get a head start on that, and then I have to actually go back for Court TV tonight, but a chance to get some stuff done on this Friday. It all depends, folks. I'm not trying to follow the crowd. There are some people that think that, and I want to just use as an example, there are some people that think all reporting should be the same. There are some people that believe that every report should be identical. I don't subscribe to that. And I want to remind you of some other names that did not. And probably the most famous is Rush Limbaugh. Rush said, I don't believe and I don't agree with all the reporting that's coming out about Washington, about the White House. Rush Limbaugh, El Rushbo, rest in peace, paved the way for Fox News Channel. Fox News Channel, of which we're going to be on this afternoon, 3 to 4, Fox Nation. By the way, I'm doing Newsmax next Wednesday. Newsmax, Fox News Channel, you have the Washington establishment, right? CNN, New York Times, that all say this should be the narrative covering the White House. This is how you describe Kamala Harris. This is how you describe, at the time, President Biden. Does Fox follow them? No. So, I've never subscribed to that. I know some people think that. Every report should be identical. That is entirely up to those individuals. That is not how I see it. I think Hank Brennan, the special prosecutor, much to the dismay of a lot of the Free Karen Reed crowd, I think he's won every day. He's getting in things. There's a pattern. They get in what they have to, and then that's it. Then he sits down and he lets Robert Alisi, drone on. You know, he lets Yannetti get up and start saying how many times can he say the name Michael Proctor in a span of 60 seconds. Michael Proctor is not in the courtroom. We have no reason to believe Michael Proctor is going to be in the courtroom. Federal investigators looked at the work done by Michael regarding the investigation done by former state trooper Michael Proctor, and they didn't find any corruption. They found inappropriate language in private text messages, but they didn't find anything that amounted to corruption. So the narrative that is going forward, but this is, for those that are wondering about the Karen Reed case, I have found, as we're day 17 completed, the testimony about, I think, the testimony about John O'Keefe's cell phone is really crucial. Because how many people, if you're listening or watching, and again, we're live on AM 1380, 99.9 FM. We're also live on X, and we're live on YouTube, and we're live on Facebook. Visit the website, DePietro.com. How many people, if you're like me, and I think a lot of people are like this, that this is always with you? How many people have Find My iPhone? How many parents track their children by their phone? This is something that is really, become the norm the past number of years. So my point is, when the prosecution is showing evidence of where John O'Keefe's cell phone was, I think that resonates with the jury, because I think this jury understands that wherever his cell phone is where John was. As far as, and I want to touch on, I couldn't believe that though. I wasn't even going to talk about it. But if someone is trying to argue, well, the jury loves Karen. Why would the jury love Karen? Because she's a female? Because she's a white female? Because she's surrounded by her legal team? I want to come back to, I'm just trying to figure out, and maybe someone says, no, juries like people that drink heavily. Juries like people that leave vicious, crazed voicemails. Juries, they really like people like that. Juries like people that are described the next morning as, Jen, Carrie, did I hit him? Oh no, jury, evidence, research has shown juries really like defendants that repeat the phrase, did I hit them? Like, what are you talking about? These people, oh, Karen, my queen, Karen. I'm telling you, there's two different worlds going on. There's the world inside the courtroom. And then there's this fantasy land outside of the courtroom. And I come back to, if someone can point to something that has happened thus far, why? Because when the niece, John O'Keefe's niece, got on the stand, and Yannetti said, how can you testify against Karen Reed, you ingrate? She took you to get pizza. How dare you testify against her? You're an ingrate. And listen to me, you're 17. If you don't start calling her by the name Karen, you're going to be in trouble. Stop calling her the defendant. You call her Karen, and you better start testifying that you loved Karen, or there's going to be big trouble for you. I mean, what are we talking about? Is that what people are pointing to? I didn't think that was successful at all. I thought that was real lowbrow. I thought it doesn't even go beyond reaching. I didn't realize that Karen Reed was keeping a list of, got her coffee, got her a donut, gave her a ride. On this date, I told her she looked nice, and now you're hearing all that stuff back? Well, I think I can speak for the niece. I'll bet the niece would forego Dunkin' Donuts and forego pizza in order to get her uncle back. The jury loves Karen Reed. What planet are these people living on? I repeat, under what evidence has been presented I could say, here's the thing. I could almost rationalize if someone said, when the defense finishes, I predict the jury will have a different, more positive opinion of Karen Reed. I could almost live with that. But I am telling you right now, based on what? Well, they just love her. She sits there and she walks up to the judge and she's got these nice suits on, and the way the jury doesn't see her walk into court. The jury, they just love Karen. Based on what? Because she's sitting there? You know what where the jury is really seeing the most of Karen are the Karen clips that play on huge screens and boom in the courtroom. They played, one this morning. So I just reject that, 100%. Folks, and I don't get these people like, what do you care? I don't believe the jury likes her. You put that you think they love her. Whatever. You think I blanking cares? I was telling someone something last night. Everyone should just focus on their own reporting. That's what they should focus on. You must follow our narrative. And our narrative is the jury loves Karen. What narrative? What are you talking about? You people are insane. Folks, this portion of the program, hey, when disaster strikes, call ServPro of Providence, 401-941-5500. ServPro, fire, flood, mold, it can happen. Water damage, fire, storm recovery, ServPro of Providence. Call them today, 401-941-5500, 401-941-5500, ServPro of Providence. Well, it's very obvious right now. I should have chosen a little bit more of a quiet spot alongside the road in order to do our hour, but it is what it is. The judge let us out early. I'm just going to go back to, I believe that they had a successful 136, that they had a successful week. Yeah, that's right. Juries love psychopaths. Good one, Bendy. Juries love psychopaths who berate orphans. Very good. I didn't think of that. Our research shows that juries love psychopaths who, belittle orphans. What are these people talking about? Berate orphans. I couldn't believe it when... No, I can't talk right now. Someone's calling me. I get it. Listen, I'm going to just... This is my advice to... And I saw today, listen, I don't care. I don't care. Folks, we are there. And as I've said, I don't hate police. I don't hate police. A lot of the people, a lot of the media that are pro Karen Reed, they're anti-police. That's a fact. That is a fact. I really go along with, and by the way, that's not the norm. Let's look at the White House. What is the Trump administration? They talk about law and order. And I subscribe to that as well. When I see the Massachusetts State Police around the courthouse, I don't think they're the enemy. When I see the Dedham police, I don't think they're the enemy. I saw 2 members of the Canton police last night. I don't regard them as, all these cops are corrupt. All cops lie. What are you talking about? You're talking to the wrong person. No, I don't think that. I don't believe that. The jury loves Karen. You need to change your narrative. It's not happening. All right? No. She is Karen Reed. There's several things. I want to share this, by the way, because I was telling someone this the other day. With the Boston media, I'll also go to the Boston media, by the way. You haven't seen one story. I'll even point my finger at the Boston Globe. They've done so many extensive articles. Can you imagine if the gender was reversed? If it was Karen was the one found the body in the snow, and John O'Keefe was the one, they would have countless stories on domestic violence and men, and police can be violent. How come I can't find one story on domestic violence, because that's really what this case is she used her vehicle as a weapon. Something else, the behavior of Karen Reed, calling him 52 times that night, her calling him that day, the incessant texting, the eruptions at Brian Higgins, the eruptions at Aruba, the voicemails, the Boston media, collectively, by the way, whether it be the Globe or the TV stations, I haven't seen one story. If someone has seen it, I'd be glad to, I'll even read it on the air. I haven't seen one story on red flags of mental illness, red flags of what to do if you find yourself in a toxic relationship. What do you do about that? How do you get out of a toxic relationship? Right now, the big story nationally is Diddy, right? And with Cassie, I could hear Julie Grant talking about this morning. And it's very clear that was a very toxic relationship and the freak-offs and everything else. But it's very clear to me, John O'Keefe, according to the niece, who I believe is a victim, and I don't think she should have been attacked and threatened on the stand, you are to refer to her as Karen. You're to stop calling her the defendant, or I'm going to have you sent to the orphanage. I mean, she's not Annie, for crying out loud. She's living with her grandmother, Peg O'Keefe. But I haven't seen any stories on, how to get out of a toxic relationship, which can then lead to domestic violence. You're hearing about it in the Diddy case. Where's the Boston Globe expose on if you're a male and you have a female that you're dating and they exhibit these traits? This is how you get out of the relationship. This is how you break up with the person. When the niece testified, I thought, her testimony that John O'Keefe was telling her, listen, this thing is coming to an end. Karen was fun for a while, babysitter with benefits. All right, are we getting a blizzard? I guess I'll have her come over to entertain me if we're going to be snowed in. But according to the niece, John O'Keefe was sending messages that this whole act of hers was getting old, was growing tired, and he was tired of it. And he was tired of her behavior, and she wouldn't leave the house. I haven't seen one story on that. How about a spotlight series on what to do? And they could do both genders. They could do all genders. They could do toxic relationships advice. If it's two guys, if it's two girls, if it's two trans, whatever. If it's male, female, whatever. But red flags that you are in a dangerous, toxic relationship. Nothing. Instead, oh, look at all these people coming out wearing pink shirts, saying free Karen, but that's the focal point. That's the story. I don't think that's the story. All right, on this Friday, let's bring her on, folks. It's our friend Marie at It's My Health, 99 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Good afternoon, Marie.
Good afternoon, John. Nice to see that you're out in the sunshine.
I'm out in the sunshine. Marie, what do we have for everyone this afternoon? What are some of the great products you can share with us?
I just thought I'd give you a show of the of our tea room. This is where we keep all of our herbs and all of our spices. So anybody's making a recipe and you need something, you can come in. I mean, we've measured stuff out by the teaspoon and tablespoon, and then lots of herbs to choose from, and lots of wonderful teas, whether we're talking about earth teas, we've got lots even of the mushroom teas, the teas that replace coffee, a number of those. We've got the Jamu chai, which is a local product. She's really wonderful. And lots of teas, from herbal teas to black teas, green teas. Just thought I'd share that with everybody today, rather than just pull one out or two out. and just show you all the wonderful, and we keep adding. We keep adding. We've got, I don't know, we're probably up to about 800 or 900 different things at this point.
Wow. Folks, again, it's Marie at It's My Health, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland. Marie, people are asking and complaining. They're sneezing in the courtroom. They're sneezing on me in the courtroom. What can you recommend for allergies?
So there are a number of homeopathic remedies that we have. So Boyron, Highlands, Natural Care, they make some wonderful things. Also, this hybrid AR, I think I've shown it even before. That one's great. If it's all in the sinuses, if you're really stuffed up, within 20 minutes you can breathe. And then you just take it once a day. And it's just simple herbs. It's just simple herbs or homeopathic remedies that can really take care of it. And I would also recommend the X-Clear nasal spray. This here is very popular. When you spray it up into your nose, after a few minutes, you're going to have to blow your nose because it really does clean out. It takes a lot of that polish and just takes it right out of the sinuses, and that can give you a lot of relief. And you can use it as frequently as you need to. It's safe, and it's just xylitol. Very easy.
Now, what's going on Super Saturday and It's My Health, 1099 Mendon Road in Cumberland?
So we have some Pilates and we have some yoga happening in the morning, and then the store will be open till 4 o'clock for people to come in, check things out, ask questions. We're here to help.
You are the queen of health. Keep up the great work. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, John. Take care.
There it is, Marie at It's My Health, 1099. There we go. Mendon Road in Cumberland. Hey, just a reminder, and I know it's loud. I get that. Hey, no matter where I go, it's loud. If I stay at the courthouse, it's loud. If I start to head to the studio, which I'm going to be at, to be on Fox Nation, streaming live next hour from 3 to 4 on the Karen Reed trial, and then we're back live tonight with Court TV. They wrap their week of shows from Dedham, and then they head back to Atlanta. So we'll be back with Road Patrol Live tomorrow night, and then back to usual. Don't forget about Kids Club on the Pike. Reserve the spot for your child, Kids Club on the Pike. Remember, whether it's a birthday party venue, for and after school care, preschool, but their summer camp is fantastic. Kids Club on the Pike. Call Kristen. Reserve your spot at 401-443-5336. Kids Club on the Pike. They're right off of 295 on the Cranston-Johnston line. It's Kids Club on the Pike. Well, folks, good afternoon. It is Friday afternoon. I want to thank Gian. It's been a fantastic, it's not easy as we're on the go. It's not easy that we overcome certain hurdles. Sometimes hurdles and turtles, it can be challenging, but I think it's worth it. But again, I want to come back to the Karen Reed case. I encourage people to watch the trial. I encourage people, you can learn from the trial. Don't go into it where you're rooting for a team. One of the ways I like to enjoy, for instance, and it's totally different, not the best analogy, but enjoy watching a football game is if I don't have skin in the game, if I don't really care who wins. It can be the most enjoyable to watch any type of game, actually. So, but these people that becomes fixated on, and we heard it, last night. We heard it last night at Court TV when they go into the crowd and ask questions. And I'm going to post the clip. I was asked last night, live on Court TV, what do I think of Jen McCabe? I said, Jen McCabe loved John O'Keefe. Jen McCabe was her friend. Jen McCabe, was the basketball coach of the niece. Jen McCabe, 4 daughters, helpful to John, had been friendly with the sister, friendly to Peg O'Keefe. Jen McCabe, as I said last night, has been villainized in this whole thing. Bernice said that morning Jen McCabe was level-headed. That Jen McCabe and Kerry Roberts, and I've said this, folks, and it's been lost in all this, and that is a real tribute to John O'Keefe. And I don't hear enough people mention this because so much has been lost in this conspiracy. But a way to measure the type of individual that John O'Keefe was the two people that were friendly with him. One was Kerry Roberts, friendly since high school, maybe even earlier. The other, Jen McCabe. They got the call, John's in trouble, and they went out in a blizzard to try to help and find him. I mean, that's like, there's several movies that are like that. That's like the scene of Wonderful Life when, people heard George is in trouble, George Bailey, and just came running. And George, Wainwright, Hee-Haw from London. My office told advance you 25,000. Harry Bailey flies in. All the people here is that George was in trouble and they came running. It's to me, it's a reflection of who John O'Keefe was. That in that moment, Jen McCabe answered the phone and she thinks it's the niece. Instead, it's crazy Karen. But nevertheless, she goes out in a blizzard to try to find John. That's a reflection on Jen McCabe, obviously. That's the type of friend you want to have. It tells me that John O'Keefe surrounded himself with good friends. Mike Camerano, there were some of the people in the courtroom. John O'Keefe has a beautiful family. His mother's terrific, Peg O'Keefe. And the same thing goes for Kerry Roberts. That's what you want, right? Like the scene in The Town. Ben Affleck walks into Jeremy Renner. Coughlin. I need you to come with me. We're going to hurt some people. You can't ask me what it's about, and we're never going to talk about it again. And what does Jeremy Renner say? Whose car are we going to take? I mean, that's the type of friendship you want. That's the type of friendship that John O'Keefe had. But it's been lost with all of this Karen worship. But I am telling you that there's no way that this case is going well for the defense. Impossible. I'm not talking about the noise outside the courtroom. What I'm talking about is the cell phone of John O'Keefe, always by his side. I'm telling you right now, if the trial stopped today and the jury was asked, they'd say something happened at that flagpole. He was found by the flagpole. Karen said he was found right where I left him off. There's no evidence he went in the house, not in this trial. So that would be very clear. It's very clear to the jury that she had been drinking. Very, very clear. It's very clear there was something about a taillight. There's several people that have testified that are first responders and friends that Karen was saying, I hit him. That is like a confession. So she even says on video, on one of those Karen clips, I did say I hit him. I just didn't say it as many times. My favorite though was Karen. It was a week pour. I didn't have 9 drinks. I had 8. That guy's a liar. I didn't have 9. I only had 8. They were weak drinks. Holy cow. Folks, this portion of the program brought to you by Arch Design Builders. Call them today, 401-207-4124. 401-207-4124. Arch Design Builders. They can redo your kitchen. They can redo your bathroom. They can redo your basement or a deck or a special project. Arch Design Builders. Call Ed and Roxanne. They're fantastic. If you're thinking of a new kitchen, you're thinking a new bathroom, maybe you're thinking of just a special project in your home, Arch Design Builders. 401-218-9707. The jury loves Karen Reed. What jury? What are you talking about? There'd be no reason that the jury would stop lying. The jury loves Karen Reed. The jury loves Karen Reed. I'll also say, hey, listen, I know that everybody's supposed to hate Proctor, okay? And I'm not condoning. He shouldn't have been texting with his friends. He should have been texting with the sister. And then I don't know what happened with the whole alcohol thing. But listen, that guy was known as a good investigator. He did a solid investigation. He did. And as he said, she hit him and she left him. That's pretty much That's pretty much what happened. He gets a bad rap. The other night on Court TV, I was defending Brian Albert. Brian Albert was a heroic cop known in Boston. I remember covering him for the Craigslist killer. Brian Albert, yeah, seems pretty slippery, seems very sketchy. Marine, served his country in the Gulf, Desert Storm, and then fugitive task force working for the Boston police. These are the people you want in your community. These are the people that step up. These are the people that come forward when other people retreat. And these are the people that are under attack in this courtroom. And they're under attack by the likes of Karen Reed and this whole fantasy that she has created. And that's what it is. So I'm telling you right now, and people, what trial are you watching? I'm watching the trial inside the courtroom. I'm the one watching the trial. Hey, the defense, all these people putting yesterday, there's a picture of Proctor at the evidence. Lies. You know what else I want to mention? And I learned this. People wonder, what's Karen doing? And she's always on the laptop. She's feeding talking points in real time to certain social media people, certain people on YouTube. There's someone that goes on television and defends her. And she is personally preparing that. That's what she does. That's what she's doing all day. When you see her busy, she's sending. There's some lady on YouTube, and she's always got the latest, and she's making points. Karen is feeding it all to her. That's why Karen's asking questions of Jackson and Yannetti. Karen's saying, no, what does that mean? And then Jackson says, well, we're going to come back with this. So then Karen Reed sends it to this lady on YouTube. So the lady says, watch where they're going to come. What do you think this is? That's how they do it. That's what she's doing the whole time. That's what she's busy doing. When someone goes on television at night and says, today, what do you think? He was watching it? Do you think he was studying it? No, it's all prepared. It's all a script. The rest of us are sitting in there and watching it. So Karen Reed is not... What is this? Let's deal in reality. I'll tell you what Karen Reed is. Karen Reed's in a lot of trouble right now. Karen Reed's in a lot of trouble. By the way, I don't know if they're going to get her on the murder charge. I don't think anybody knows. Here's a thought. Let's wait till we see the accident reconstruction. I've heard it's fantastic. I've heard it illustrates a lot. Why don't we wait to see how that plays out? And when the prosecution finishes, the defense will get a chance to get up, and let's see if they can poke holes in all of this. I don't see the rush. I don't see, what is this that all these people have to immediately come out and start saying, oh, there's reasonable doubt. What do you mean there's reasonable doubt? Let's just, everybody chill out. But I'm telling you right now that Hank Brennan, they have put on a brilliant, and it's short and it's concise, and they're dealing with very slippery people. The defense, as Wendy Murphy says, the defense is allowed to lie. And they do. Folks, this portion of the program brought to you by Quality Asphalt Seal Coating. 401-283-9815. 401-283. Call Corey. Quality Asphalt Seal Coating. They'll seal coat your tennis court, pickleball court, basketball court. They can make your pavement look like new. They'll epoxy your garage, decorative concrete flooring, patios. Call Corey. Free quote 401-283-9815 for quality and it's asphalt seal coating. Well, folks, again, it is Friday. It is May 16th, and the judge dismissed the jury early, gave them the afternoon off for the Karen Reed trial. People were asking what's going on. I also want to mention the judge did warn the jurors about making faces, reacting. Now, there is an individual that I have noticed, and this individual just makes odd faces. I think the person is odd. I'm not going to say much more beyond that. It's a he. He smiles at unusual times. He makes frowns. I've noticed that certain members of the media say, I'm watching the juror, and he frowned when Hank was talking. He smiled when Alicia was talking. The guy If he's at home, he's smiling and making faces. There's something weird about this guy. But they use him. So the judge warned him. That's who I think the judge was talking to. So, and also, I mean, we've already seen where Karen Reed's dad, Bill Reed, they had to put a court officer because he's making faces. He's like the angriest guy in the courtroom, making faces at the jury and staring and laughing and pointing. But the judge did warn the jury about, and I think it's directed at, I don't know what the deal is with this guy on the jury, but he does make odd expressions. All right, great job by Gian. If you listen to the radio, stay tuned for the True Clock News. Everybody else, I'll see you on Fox Station at 3, Court TV, live tonight.